And all of a sudden he goes, "Ah, you made me die! I'll kill you!" And he rips open the sliding door, sprints out into the yard. The older brother takes the rake, hits him with the rake, knocks him over, and starts beating him on the ground. And I was like, okay, like this is all over the video games. No matter who you are, video games have probably touched your life in some way. Whether you're someone who grew up playing with them, a parent who had to pay for them, or a grandparent who had absolutely no idea what the hell your grandkids were talking about, video games are an essential part of life. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. From how they shaped us as kids, to how they changed, to the influence they still have on us today, we're going to talk about it all. And joining me on this podcast episode are my brother Garrett and my friend Phil, who are my player 2 and 3 for a lot of games growing up. So turn on the console, put in your favorite game, get ready to play. Let's go. All right, guys, how are you? Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Phil, I got to shout it out to you. This was actually your idea, so thank you for the idea. It was a good one.
No problem.
What made you come up with the idea of video games as an episode for Remember When Radio?
Just it's a huge part of pretty much every boy's childhood.
Yeah, totally. And not just boys, a lot of girls I knew playing video games as too. I think definitely like hardcore central for guys, so I would say. Garrett, I know you played a lot of video games growing up.
Absolutely. Just like Phil, that they made me who I am today.
If you guys had to take it
ADHD.
Back. I'm a big member of the ADHD club. But look at the arcade background behind it. I'm going to touch on this later. Like, dude, this was like, I got ChatGPT to make this background for me, but this is what it looked like. Like, I spent my childhood a lot of time in places that look like this.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's Johnny Z's. That's Johnny Z's right there.
That's Johnny Z's in a nutshell. And like, yeah, if I took an adult ADHD test, I'm sure I would have like record high numbers. And I probably owe part of it to where I spent all my time. Like those sounds, the flashing lights, just like arcades used to be so crowded. Did you guys ever go to arcades?
Oh, yeah. Well, we had the one at University Heights.
Yes, Johnny Z's.
Yeah, that was a good one. Adam, do you remember that BC Ferries used to have an
arcade
on the ferry?
Dude, I do remember. That was always a big thing on family trips.
That's always what I was looked forward to the most.
Yeah, you got to shake your parents down for $1.
Yeah.
$1?
I just want to play Gauntlet Legends. Come on.
And then the video games in the arcade were so hard.
Oh, yeah.
But they were like infinitely harder than on your console. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was a money trap, man. They designed it that way.
It is a total money trap.
You died again. You died again.
Yeah,
put in more money.
Continue. Whoever owned those arcades probably just had like a two-way mirror, like in like interrogation rooms, and they just stood behind them and were like, yes, keep losing.
But they took the arcade off the ferries. They're not there anymore, and I don't know why.
I wonder why. Oh, you know what I bet that was? It's probably COVID. Like, we can't have people touching contact surfaces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it was probably earlier than that they took it away.
I wonder if they
it's been a while.
Well, you know what I bet part of it was the advent of handheld games might have spelled the slow demise of the arcade.
Those kids are missing out on some shitty hard games.
Yeah, dude. I remember playing Mortal Kombat at home, like when I would rent a Super Nintendo, and I thought I was pretty good at Mortal Kombat. I could almost beat the game, and then I'd go to the arcade and just get slaughtered on the first person, like Sonya Blade.
Who's your character? Who's your favorite character?
Sub-Zero. The
play. Yeah. Oh,
Sub-Zero.
So it's a toss up between Sub-Zero and Reptile.
Reptile was cool.
Or Scorpion.
Scorpion. Essentially, how can we make 3 different characters out of one guy?
Let's make them different colors.
The stupid kids will fall. No one will fall for that. No, these kids will. Yep. Since we're on arcades, let's just stick on this. So I remember the first time I ever went to an arcade, I was 7 years old. Dad took us, and for like months and months and months, he'd be saving up quarters. and he had like this fanny pack full of quarters. I remember like driving there and he was showing me all these quarters. He must have had, I don't know, dude, like not hundreds of quarters, but that's what it looked like to me. And he's
Yeah.
carrying this huge bag of quarters around, and we get to the arcade, and he's trying to put quarters in the machine. He's like, "Oh, what's this? That doesn't say quarters. You don't need quarters. You need tokens." So Dad had been waiting months to take us, and all he needed to do is go with like a $10 bill, and you give it to the teenager working there, and they give you a bunch of tokens. I remember that was like
Yeah.
my first like. We couldn't figure out how to work the machine, so we're looking at all these other kids who are playing, and like, oh, dude, it's hilarious.
Think I still have a token in my change jar.
Johnny Z, I remember those tokens,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Um, and then you know what? My well, okay, if you guys had to pick one favorite arcade game or like your top three, what would they be when you went to the arcade?
Whew.
Oh man, the Terminator game.
Oh, with the guns?
Okay, you had the gun, yeah, and it was like
So
on
good.
rails, right?
So good.
Probably the motorcycle game where you'd sit on it and
Oh,
then lean to
I
turn the
forgot
corners. I
about
love that
those.
one.
Right.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
those were so awesome.
yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And I don't know, House of the Dead.
House of the Dead. You know what? I think House of
That
the
came
Dead
later. They came later.
is actually in the background on my thing somewhere, or maybe it was on the other picture.
Oh
Phil, what
yeah.
about yeah? What about you? What were your favorites?
Well, pretty much any like racing game. I do
Yeah.
remember the motorcycle one that Garrett just
Yeah,
mentioned.
that was awesome. They had that on the ferries for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And any shooting game where you're actually
Yeah.
holding the gun, like
Yes, yes.
Time Crisis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was cool.
And what else was there? I mean,
Oh,
they had fighting games too, I'm sure.
fighting games are good. Gary, do you remember the Jurassic Park game that we played? I
Yes,
think
I
it
do.
was on the ferry where you're sitting in that Jeep. They used to put so much effort into video games in the arcade. Like they had the Jeep and you sit inside the Jeep and you had those
Full
guns.
immersion. You were in that world.
Dude, I like bring back the arcade. Like, come on. Like, no wonder people are so depressed today. Like, just bring back the arcade already. Cure everything. Anyways, the Jurassic Park game, yeah, it was unbelievable. So you sit in this Jeep and it shakes around and it moves and it's got this giant screen in front of you that basically almost wraps around your head. And you got these like guns and you're blasting raptors, T-Rexes, the spinning ones. And then we were doing so good. And then Gary, do you remember what killed us?
Yeah, Brontosaurus took a big dump on the windshield and that killed us.
Yeah, there was a Brontosaurus comes onto the screen and takes a number two, and you see it falling towards you. You're like, oh, this is kind of weird. And it kills you. It crushed us. This is so messed up. Like you were supposed to
That's
shoot
a
it.
crappy way to die.
It was a crappy way to die. You're supposed to shoot it, and it's supposed to break apart into small pieces. Like, I don't know how they left that in the game. Like, who came up with that idea?
I
Guys,
don't know. It all happened so fast.
what should we do for the final boss? T-Rex? Raptor pack? No.
No, it's too
No, no.
obvious.
Huge
We need something different.
log. Oh, that's crazy. I don't want to stay on this forever, but I could spend this whole game talking about the arcade. Did you guys ever play that jet one? It was called Afterburner, and you sat, and it was like they had a full cockpit done up, and you would get in and pull a little curtain
I'm pretty.
close.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
like you were so in that thing. Oh, Afterburner was amazing. And like the whole thing, it was like a military training module, like a pilot training
That's
module. The
right.
whole thing moved
Like
up and
moved up and
down.
down.
Yeah, and there was
Yeah,
like a
that's
safety
crazy.
zone around it because the whole machine pivoted and moved. It was so awesome. And that was a go-to for me. And they had all these Star Wars games too. Do you remember like the Star Wars flight games? It was kind of the same deal. Like, what a
Oh
rad
yeah.
place for a kid. And I'm looking at the Turtles game behind me. That like, dude, that stuck with me my whole life. That Ninja Turtles arcade game. I think that was the coolest arcade game I ever played. It's the longest uncomfortable silence we've had on the podcast so far. Good job, guys. How can three people make it quiet? Anyways, I
I
want to.
thought we were having a cheers.
Oh yeah, okay, let's go with that. I want to share one more story. I want to share one more story. So the arcade was awesome. Like every kid loved going to the arcade. But the arcade was actually the place where I learned a hard lesson about life, and it was the first time I really got like swindled by a shyster. And I remember like I was playing this fighting game. It was called Oh, I can't remember what it was called. It doesn't matter. Something about Beast or something, but it was this fighting game. And my favorite character was this dragon. And I wish I could remember what it was called. Anyways, you would do these, you would like beat the guy up enough, and then you get this thing called a super throw as like your superpower, and then you would do some crazy move. Anyways, it was the most popular game in the arcade. And I went to play it, and this older kid came up to me. He's like, "Yeah, this is a sweet game. Hey, bud." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you want to play two player?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." Right. And then I pop my quarter in, and he just puts his hand out, and he's like, "Yeah, I need a token." And I was like, "You jerk." Like he totally like he did, and then he got me to pay for him. And then he kicked the crap out of me in like 8 seconds. It was such a jerk, man. And then after he like basically like just tricks me out of my money and then beats me, he's like, "You want to play again?" I was like, "No, no, dude, I don't." And that was like my
What a
first place.
shark.
Dude, he was a shark. He was probably like I'm sure he was cruising Johnny Z's regular, just getting free games and stuff. Can only imagine where that guy
How
is in.
much older was he?
I was probably 7 and he was about 14. Did he just look like a classic
Hmm.
90s character? Like he had like the baseball hat on, kind of like long blondish hair. Just had like
That's a
little
pretty big age gap to be taking advantage of you.
dude, he was totally taking advantage of me. It was unbelievable. I was like, what a freaking jerk. I can only imagine where that guy is in life
Greasy.
now. Probably scamming some kind of he's probably on a faking workers comp or something like that and telling the stories of how he used to hit the high scores at Johnny Z's. All right. It's enough of the arcade for people who don't play video games. I want to make sure we get to some stuff for them. If you guys had to go back, what is your first memory of seeing a video game or playing a video game when you were a really young kid?
Nintendo. Probably watching you and Brendan play it because I watched before I played.
As we all did. Phil?
I mean, it had to be Super Nintendo, and either it was Super Mario World or Super Mario Brothers, but it was the one for Super Nintendo, and
Okay,
we played that like all the time.
nice. I'm older than you guys, so my first video game that I ever remember seeing was Atari, and we had these neighbors pretty much like we lived through what do you call it? Vicariously through our neighbors. We had these older neighbors, Jan and Ryan, and they were like friends on my street. They were the older kids. I was probably about 4, and they were probably 10 or 12, right? I think actually, man, 12, 13. And Jan had an Atari, and we used to go over his house all the time and just like sit there and watch these guys play Atari. It was so cool. And then when we got a little bit older, Dad actually bought the Atari. Mom and Dad bought the Atari off them one Christmas, and so we got Jan's old Atari. And like I remember coming down on Christmas morning, there was like 100 games splayed out all over the downstairs living room. It was so cool. And then we went to Jan's house for some like neighborhood Christmas party, and he had gotten a Nintendo, and we were sitting there watching him play Contra. And I remember like that was the first time I remember having my mind blown as a kid. I just could not fathom what I was seeing.
Contra.
Pretty
Yeah.
huge gap there.
Age gap,
No quality gap
dude, huge
going
quality
from
gap.
Atari to Contra.
I'm certain that Atari games they spend about 20 minutes on them, and they're like, and then they just stop putting in an effort. Like I don't even think you could beat most of those games. They just didn't go anywhere.
It's funny. I didn't even know Atari was a thing when I was a kid
Yeah.
until I think Garrett brought it up at some point. He mentioned it at like in elementary school, and I was like, "What the hell is Atari?"
Dude, Atari was awesome. They used to have the commercials. It was like under 50 bucks, under 50 bucks. It was like the Kmart Atari commercials. I don't know. You guys, I don't even think you guys were born yet, but that was a big thing.
Possibly not. Yeah.
Atari was huge, huge. And yeah, you could get a complete video game system for under 50 bucks. That was literally like the motto. You guys ever play handheld games?
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh yeah, was gonna say, was there another Atari, an Atari Jaguar
Yeah, they made an Atari
that was
Jaguar.
better?
Yeah, they had one in Ninjutsu, remember? And they had the Alien versus
I
Predator
do.
game.
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
Blew my mind. That was insane. I remember when we finally got to play it, how cool that was.
Oh, that was cool.
So scary.
Yeah, well,
Anyways, I think
go ahead.
we're skipping a couple generations there because you're asking about handheld
It's all
games.
good. It's all good. I won't tell my creepy ghost
Uh,
story about when I was at ninjutsu by myself playing the Atari Jaguar. I had a really weird thing
hmm,
happen.
it's an
Let's
old
go.
building.
It was a creepy old building in Victoria, which is known to be like a very haunted city. They do Victoria ghost tours, and there was definitely a ghost in this one. But let's stick on the video games. Gary, what's your memory of handheld?
Tamagotchi. That like crappy little thing where you had
Did
to keep your dinosaur alive and
was that the GigaFed?
feed
Yeah.
it, whatever. Yeah, like play with it,
I
clean
remember
up its
got on,
poop.
I remember when you got on the Tamagotchis, just being like, just not
Yeah,
able to comprehend how that
no.
was a thing.
And then my T Rex died. I was devastated.
I I know.
Yeah, and then I got Game Boy or Game Boy Color. I
Did you
came
have
to
a
a little
Game
bit
Boy?
later.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember
Game
that.
Boy Color.
Really?
Like not the first generation one, but
Yeah, the
I
black
had the
and white that sucked.
Pokemon red or blue, whatever.
How do I not know that? I remember all your video games, but I don't remember that one.
Hmm.
That's weird.
But yeah, that was pretty much it for me. What about you, Phil?
I never played the handheld games much. I mean, I never owned a handheld device
Loser.
like that. But I remember what they were and some of them. I remember Game Boy Advance. I remember
Game Boy
like
Advance.
Joel Schwab was really excited about getting that back in the day.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had one actually.
Really? Well, I
Yeah.
remember. No, I remember when I was really young. This is like so. I think I was 4, and so my neighbor, like our neighborhood, Garrett, before you guys were born. There's a 6-year age gap between me and Gary and Phil, by the way, just for people watching. Um, before you guys were born, these neighbors who had all the cool video games. Remember this one guy, Ryan? He lived next door to us. He had this really cool motocross game. It was this handheld device, but it only had one game, and it was some crazy dirt bike game. And you could like jump your dirt bike over different things, and it was so awesome. And I feel like it was so advanced for its time. Like 1986, the graphics were so good. We always wanted to play it, and he would like make little deals with us. Like we'd have to like buy him a ice cream from the ice cream man, and then we could play it for like 20 minutes, and then he'd always like dial our dial our time back or have to like pretend to change the batteries and be like, no, this comes off your time. So this guy kind of like took advantage of us with that too. But dude, we were so obsessed with this game, and because like he only gave it to us in small doses, like we just wanted to play it so bad. And
Left you wanting more.
always left us wanting more. And then I remember one day, like our dreams came true because he agreed to sell it to us. And I don't know what we paid. Probably some astronomical child price, probably $5, which to a 4-year-old might as well paid him like
It's a lot of money.
$1,000 today, right? Especially in like the 80s, like $5. It's a lot of moolah. Anyways, he sells it to us, and it had broken. So it would stop working after like about 30 seconds to a minute, and it totally didn't work anymore. And so he totally shafted us.
What a jerk.
Well, he's
The
probably
game
friends with,
broke?
pardon?
You said the game broke?
Yeah, the whole thing didn't work. He was probably friends with that kid at the arcade. They probably had their whole little.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, dude, I swim
Oh
with
yeah.
that kid all the time.
Oh, this little nerdy kid. Yeah. Easy target. Fall for anything. Yeah. Okay, let's jump forward a little bit. Gary, change it up a little bit. Do you remember when Grandma and Grandpa bought a Nintendo and they kept it at their house? Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Did we already have it?
No.
Yeah, but did we
No.
already have a Nintendo at that point?
No, Grandma and Grandpa were so cool. They owned a Nintendo before we
So
did.
they got it first.
They got it first.
Okay, so no, then I don't remember them getting it first. I
Yeah.
remember us having one, and then there was just one there.
They got it
But
first.
that is cool.
That was so cool because, like, remember how you used to be able to rent Nintendos for the weekend from the video game store? Well,
Oh, that was so awesome.
that was so cool. Sometimes Grandma and Grandpa would do that. Like, we'd go over for the weekend or sleep over,
Yeah.
and they would take us to the video game store and we'd rent a Nintendo. Well, I remember one time we went over there and they already had it, and Grandpa told us he'd bought it, and I thought he was joking. I just thought he was like pulling our leg the whole time. Like, there's no way Grandpa would buy a Nintendo, but they did, and that like every sleepover at their house after that just became so awesome. Like they were always awesome having sleepovers at your grandparents' house, but like this thing was the next level. It was like a grandparent sleepover on steroids. It was so good.
Oh yeah.
Was it a
And then
Super Nintendo?
no, it was
Or
regular Nintendo, and they only had Super Mario and Duck Hunt. I feel like they had the trackpad. They might have had the trackpad. I think they did, the power pad, and Super Mario 2. And that was the only games they had, but we'd always rent games. So like for sleepovers, we would just go to their house, have like a delicious like homemade meal or like pizza, and then it was off to the video store to rent a video game. That was so cool. That was like, wasn't that just like a highlight of going to their house and staying over?
Ah,
Ah,
yep. Yes, it was
it
pretty
was
awesome.
awesome. Do you want to go to the video store and rent a Nintendo? Yeah, yeah, we
But you
do.
never ask.
Yeah. Shall we get some ice cream on the way? Yep.
Yep.
That was a fully loaded grandparent sleepover. All right, Phil, I have a
Yeah.
question for you. I just don't know what it is. Did you guys ever have a friend who got like excessively into video games
Uh,
or a family member?
Oh, like,
I know the answer is yes because I saw them
mean,
come over
yeah,
to our
but
house. I didn't know who they were.
you mean like physically while they're
Yes,
playing,
physically.
they got too into it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Matthew Morris
That's exactly.
and
Oh,
Victor.
yeah, yeah. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, Matthews, I don't know, he'd sit up on his knees. We'd be like, in front of the TV sitting on the floor, but he'd sit up on his knees and then his whole body would get into it. He'd,
Yep.
like going up higher or getting down a little bit lower, looking left, looking right.
I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was pretty erratic.
dude. I remember coming.
So sorry, I was just gonna say, and then when Victor and I used to game, sometimes I'd look over at him and he'd like making the craziest faces, like so into it, but like his toes would be curling around on the floor, and it was hilarious.
I remember coming home and seeing your friend Matthew. He wasn't just like on his knees. I remember the guy used to stand up and he making the weirdest sounds, like
Yeah,
like dude, full on. He would like jump around and stuff. I was like, this guy is crazy. Like he was.
boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. Supposed to sit down when you play video games, Matthew.
Sit still, Matthew.
What the hell are you doing? You have the ADD.
those are
That
really
boy
good
needs
handheld
Ritalin.
impressions.
Thanks, Phil. Didn't Matthew kick Dad in the balls?
No, he punched him.
Punched
I
him in the
remember-
balls.
And it was probably from like, games, dude. I mean, that was the craziest. I remember coming over. He was probably overstimulated from playing video games, standing up. I think Dad
Yeah.
told him to calm down or something because he was just going nuts. And he ran up and he just punched him right in the crotch. And Dad was like, "Bah!" Fell down on his knees. It's just like what? That was
That's
like a
crazy.
dude. That was the craziest thing I ever saw your
I'm
friend do.
I'm surprised he was ever allowed back.
Matthew's lucky he like that he wasn't like one generation previous because they would have spanked the living you know what out of him.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that would not have flown with like a one generation higher, you know? Boy. Get those pants down. Bah!
Wait,
What's that, Phil?
you're saying Matthew Morris punched your guy's dad in the nuts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because my dad told him to calm down. All right. Speaking of crazy video games.
True story.
Speaking of crazy true stories we saw, I'm not going to name names, but growing up, we were friends with these three brothers. These guys were the craziest people I ever knew, and probably still are. But anyways, their youngest brother, he was so into video games, unlike anyone I'd ever seen. Like this guy would like hyper focus. He was so good at video games. When he would rent a video game for the weekend, he would beat it. And you guys remember how hard video games used to be to beat. They were almost impossible.
Oh, it's like, yeah, if it even happened.
This guy was like the what I don't even know. It was like,
Wizard.
yeah, he was like the wizard. Thank you. Yes, he was like the wizard. And he would rent these games and he'd beat them. But he'd stay up like all night and all day. Like he'd go like almost like 48 hours without sleep. He'd sleep like maybe 3, 4 hours a night. And I remember like by like the last day of having the game, he'd always be like really close to the end. But dude, this guy's stress levels, like you'd think he's like he was like trying to stop like some like nuclear event or something from happening. Like he hadn't slept. He's so stressed out. I remember like I was in the room watching him play and he's hyper focused and he's staring at the screen, sitting 2 feet away. And his older brother is like telling him what to do, right? He's like, jump, jump. And then he dies. And he's like, shut up, shut up. And his older brother's like, you gotta chill out, man. Calm down. So then the older brother goes outside and he's raking the leaves and he's doing some yard work. And then I think he like had a pine cone and he like picked it up and he threw it at the sliding door and it just bounced off the sliding door and the little brother was like and then all of a sudden that little pine cone distracted him and all of a sudden he goes, ah, you made me die, I'll kill you. And he rips open the sliding door, sprints out into the yard. The older brother takes the rake, hits him with the rake, knocks him over, and starts beating him on the ground. And it was like, okay, like this is all over the video games. Parents come running out, like, stop, stop, what are you doing? Like, he made me die. I just went home. That's a 100% true story. I'm not going to name names. Garrett, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who that is.
That was the craziest thing I ever saw my friends do, all over video games.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
I was gonna ask you guys about like if you had any like worst rage quit, like memories, or like not just of yourselves, like if of other people, and I guess that kind of answers that.
That was it.
Yeah, I don't think I would be able to top that story. That's the ultimate.
Dude, that was the ultimate. Like, we can have the after effect here, but like Gary, do you remember? Yeah, do you remember when you used to play Smash Brothers and you were very good at that game? And I don't know if you remember this, dude, but this happened when I was about to beat you. Like when your character on Smash Bros was about to die and go flying off the screen, you would pause the game and you'd go, "Hold on a second, I want to change characters," and you'd restart the match.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I just couldn't accept defeat.
That caused a lot of fights in our house.
I'm sorry.
I don't care.
I'm sorry I wasn't a better sport.
Doesn't bother me. But like, dude, those caused a lot of fights in our house. Like I wasn't hitting you with the rake or anything like that, but like dad would always come down and have to get involved. And then it was a bigger deal than it needed to be. And
you telling me it's not the manager of our video games? Our superintendent?
It's some off. Yeah, dude. You're not the video game supervisor, Dad.
Yeah. It's like, what? They just don't understand what happens in those last moments when your hit counter is getting higher and higher, and one wrong move, you're flying off that screen.
Dude, it's so stressful.
Stressful.
And it's intense.
Yeah, that game was a sleepover favorite.
Yes. I'm really glad you brought that up. I want to transition to that. I just want to hit on one more thing. Garrett, I think the reason it was so intense was because, like, back then you didn't really have a lot going. You didn't have a job. Sure, you went to school, but you went to elementary school or high school, so it was pretty easy. You had, like, zero responsibilities, and most of us weren't, like...
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah. Most of us weren't, like, setting goals or, like... You didn't really have anything you're going after, but video games...
goals.
They were video game goals, and they were also kind of your identity. Huge part of your life. Social credit school, right? Like if you could beat a certain game or you'd got further than anyone else, like it really gave you some street cred. So yeah, it was like a huge part of your identity. And I think that's why we got so invested in them.
Yeah, big sense of accomplishment and like real conversation starter, like at school. Like
yes, you can make friends with Yeah, you can make friends with someone. Like you could bond with someone really quick over a video game. Or like, do you remember sometimes like you would like lend a kid your video game and vice versa? And like a lot of friendships started over video games.
Or people who are already your friends.
And ended.
You just say like, yeah, like people who are already your friends. Just
totally.
You tell them that I just beat this such and such temple, on
Yeah,
Zelda.
exactly.
And then
Exactly.
they'll like start telling everyone else like, hey,
Yeah.
Phil beat, you know.
Ladies, this guy over here, single.
Ladies, beat the water temple.
He's the water temple. Phil,
Record time.
let's go to your sleepover thing. You brought up sleepovers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just
Are we having
basically
one?
saying how what?
Oh, we're gonna have a sleepover.
No, I was just pointing out that Super Smash Bros. Was a huge sleepover favorite.
Totally.
Probably like the biggest one
Yeah,
that I can remember.
I would agree with that.
I think the biggest sleepover game was probably Zombies Ate My Neighbors on Super Nintendo. I always used to play that with Andrew. It was like our go-to. It was so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And there's only two characters, the boy and the girl. And
Yeah.
he made me be the girl every single time. So pissed off. I was like,
No rocks, paper, scissors?
no,
Why was that? Why was that the norm?
his house, man. It was his house. It was his Super Nintendo.
His rules.
And I knew that.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do. If I wanted to play, I had to be the girl. Anyways,
Well,
Andrew.
You know
Good
what?
times.
Now you know how Travis felt on Wave Racer when you took the girl racer and called her Trixie Travis. Do you remember that? You made profiles
Yep.
for all the characters and you made Travis the girl. He got so mad.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been pinched that hard in my life. It's like some sort of king crab coming at me.
He got so mad at you.
I mean, I deserved it.
Well, I don't know. Little kids are crazy.
Do you
But
guys have any memories of like Sega?
uh yes, but I want to add to the sleepover one here.
Oh,
For me, the craziest. Did you guys remember Twisted Metal for PlayStation?
Yeah,
Car
I only
racing
ever
game?
played it a few times.
That was huge in my
Twisted Metal.
generation for like the 82ers and a couple above and below. Like Twisted Metal was huge. Streets of Rage 2 was like a crazy sleepover game. I remember like one night I was having a sleepover with two of my best friends at the time, Craig and Gareth. And I remember like we stayed up all night trying to beat that game. And I think at like 2 a.m., Gareth tapped out. Me and Craig stayed up to like 6 a.m. and I think we beat the game. And we stayed up so late that you could see the sun coming up and you could hear his parents upstairs like shuffling around. But like it was so worth it, man. I still remember that sleepover. That was like, I don't know, man. That's one of the best memories from childhood is just staying up all night, playing video games with your friends and trying to beat them.
Like,
And then
yeah,
how
those are
terrible you
awesome.
felt the next day, but so worth it.
Yeah.
It was like it was a
Oh.
kid hangover, dude. It was like the pre-hangover,
Yeah.
you know? You're like, oh,
Dehydrated,
I'm never
way too
gonna
much
do that
sugar.
again. Stayed up too late. I'm never gonna do that again.
Never drink another pop.
I feel awful. I'm never gonna drink a 2 liter Coke to myself again. Then a month later, you're like, yeah, dude, you want to get a couple 2 liters and rent a video game system?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. All right, Phil, you mentioned Sega.
Oh yeah, like Sonic the Hedgehog, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Do you
used to play
remember?
that. I used to play that game whenever I went over to my cousin's place for dinners. Yeah, and that was a super fun one. It's too bad Sega like had to end.
Well, dude, you knew video games are getting really good because I remember when Sonic came out, I pulled out the instruction book. Remember how like the instruction books used to be super detailed and have cool artwork and character profiles and stuff? Well, the very
Show
first
you
thing
the
I read
enemies.
was like, warning, this game may cause epileptic seizure. And I'm like, well, this is going to be awesome.
Don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is, but this must be intense. And then you start playing and it's like,
Yeah, Sonic was awesome. Like we never
Sonic.
had a Sega,
No.
and so I'd only ever get to play it if I go over to like a friend's house that had one or something.
Yeah, man. I remember my best friend as a kid. He got a Sega and he had Sonic 2. And there was that half pipe level. I used to spend the whole time playing those half pipes and stuff, man. It was
Oh,
so
yeah.
much fun. It was so
That
good.
was awesome.
Such a revolution. And I feel like back then, whenever a new system came out, it was a quantum leap in graphics and play experience. Whereas now, I feel like it's like these tiny little differences. And I feel like an old guy now because I'm like, I don't see the difference. Like I see it subtly, but there's like, they're not the same quantum leaps going from like an Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, Nintendo 64. Like it's just like, I don't know, man. Back then, like the difference was so much bigger.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think part of it is like everything's console or PC, right? Like all the real quality stuff now, everyone has a crazy PC for that. Because my buddy, he spent, I don't know, $6,000 or $7,000 on his gaming setup, and
Nerd.
yeah, like fully dedicated. And the difference between that and like my Xbox is pretty significant. But
Right.
yeah, between consoles, it doesn't always seem as big. But since we're talking about that, you remember when Xbox came out, Phil?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember. What I think it was grade 8. It was you, me, Joel, and Ryan. We were standing out in the field on lunch break, and someone had a Nintendo Power magazine or some sort of video
Oh
game
yes.
magazine, and it
Those.
showed it was like Xbox, and they did like a preview for each one. So it was Xbox, PS2, and GameCube. And Phil, you were like Team Xbox day one. Ryan got the PS2. I got the GameCube, and then we were all plotting and scheming. And then I remember when you got your Xbox, and we all came over to your house after school to play Halo.
Yeah, I was gonna mention
And
this.
it was like, yeah, and it was like, you, me, Ryan, I can't remember who else was there, but then all of your other brothers and their friends. There's probably 20, 25 people stuffed in your downstairs.
Well, I don't know if it was that many, but there was a bunch of people.
Quit bringing down the vibe, Phil. It was 20 or 25.
Okay, there's 4 people.
Okay, fine. There was 4 of us.
Okay,
And 2 of them were your
let's say
parents.
your older brother had his friends and your younger brother had his
Yeah.
friends, but like it was the debut.
That
And
is so
didn't
What do
cool.
you remember from that
and
day?
and didn't I like have a really hard time like controlling it? Do you
Yes,
remember that?
because it was the first. Because it was the first time that you had like one joystick for moving and one
Yeah.
for looking, and it was so different. If you came, because what did we have, like Nintendo 64, where you had the weird joystick in the middle?
Yeah.
So that's what we were used to, and then
I
all of
was
a sudden you
struggling.
get 2. Everyone's like, "Come on, Phil, what the hell are you doing?" I get like, so you're like, "I'm trying."
It was so new to me.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Because like all over the internet, you see pictures from that era where there's like 10 or 12 kids all sitting around one TV and one console, and everyone's just like sharing this one experience. And people like who grew up in these days like can't believe it. They're like, no, man, people didn't do that. But like, yeah, man, that's such a core memory that you described. That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at my own thing, like when GoldenEye came out for Nintendo 64, I wasn't even like I was like friendly with this guy, but we weren't friends. This guy Andrew, but he lived really close to us. And I remember one day, like me and my friend group were just walking like past his house, and he was there with his friend group, and we just started chatting. He's like, "We're like, what are you guys up to?" He's like, "Oh, I just got GoldenEye for N64. You guys want to see it?" We're like, "Yeah, okay, sure." So we go in, and dude, within 5 seconds, we were all like just mesmerized, and just like like it was like doing crack. Like it was crazy. Like it was so it's
I
instantly
remember.
I've never
I
done
remember
crack.
that game.
But like
Yeah.
dude, it was amazing. And just like the community that built and the camaraderie cuz like all of a sudden my friend group doubled because of like this GoldenEye experience, and now I'm also talking to these guys at high school, and now we're hanging out and stuff like that. No, it was so cool. Like video games were such an amazing bonding experience for people.
Yeah. GoldenEye was actually the first game that I remember becoming addicted to,
Yeah. They
and
had the
it really got me into video games for the first time, like for real.
Oh, it's
Like,
so good.
it was so fun, and we could never get the 2 bonus levels at the end, which uh, was disappointing. But
What were the bonus levels?
I ended at like Cradle, and then there was like
Yeah.
Aztec and Egyptian. Those are the 2
Yeah.
bonus ones. Could never get those because you had to beat
Huh.
every level up to the Cradle on Double O Agent. which was just so hard. But I also thought I was the best at GoldenEye for a while, but I remember being like really surprised when I found out someone else was even better than me. Like I think it was Garrett. You remember Braden Jansen in elementary
Oh
school?
yeah,
Yeah, it was him.
it was him.
He was even better, so much better than me.
Bastard.
And I was gutted.
How'd you find out? Would he come over and he annihilated you, or what?
I think like it was over at his house for some reason. He was amazing though.
Was that the end of your friendship?
Could have been.
You gotta develop an inferiority complex over Golden. Well, I was the best.
Demoted to 006. or 8, whatever's worse.
07, 06. Not even a 00 anymore. You're just 6. You're a 4. Okay, speaking of like games you remember, Garrett, do you remember when we had like that amazing like brother game of Ocarina of Time going? It was like our bonding. It was like our thing. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember, and I know exactly where this
No,
is going.
I don't need to point fingers here. Let's stay on the positives. Dude, when I look back on my life of growing up, there's like there's a few chapters of my life that I remember with like unbelievable fondness, and that was one of them. When you and I think I was in grade 11, so you must have been what, grade 5, grade 6, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I just remember you and I playing Ocarina of Time together, and that was just like so magical, dude, because that was my favorite video game of all time. The game itself was so magical, and we were playing it in like the fall and winter and spring, like it was like a full year thing, and that was just like
That's
such
definitive.
dude. It was such a rad thing, and it gave us like something to do together and look forward to and like work on, and I feel like we really bonded when we were like playing that game together.
Well, we can relive that with the Ocarina of Time remake coming
With the
out
remake,
for the Switch too.
yeah, I know. I kind of wish I'd waited for the Switch too. Breath of the Wild just isn't cutting it for me. I don't want to spend my time making soup and finding spicy peppers. I just want to play the GD game.
Yeah, I already have to do that in real life.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, wow. I get to play a video game and cook and buy groceries. This is fun.
Huh.
Who came up with this idea?
Yeah, Ocarina of Time is definitely the GOAT for me.
Best video game of all time, I think.
Could probably do a whole podcast episode just
Well,
on
totally.
that.
And then Gary, you know what? You brought up Halo before. That's one of the other things too, man. Halo and Battlefront. When Battlefront came out, and we just got the big screen TV, that was another like, dude, when I think about like the best times of my life, you can like leapfrog all those. And it's kind of funny because they're all tied into me and you hanging out and like our friendship developing, but also like playing video games together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we did a lot of other stuff. We would climb up Mount Doug and go on missions and hikes and adventures and stuff, bike rides and stuff. But like those three things, man, like yeah, like brothers, video games, and just like all that time, man. Like that was so good. That was so awesome. I'm really glad we got to do that together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Halo's another favorite of mine.
Yeah, Halo was amazing.
Um,
You flipped the Warthog.
like GoldenEye is what like began my love for like the first person shooter
Yeah.
genre, which is my still to this day my favorite. And then Halo took it to a whole new level, and it's just yeah, always had a special place for me.
I feel like there will
Bill-
never be a time in life like that again because we had the perfect mix of youth, innocence, friendship, and these amazing video games coming out. I
No
just don't
real
think-
responsibilities.
Yeah, no real responsibilities yet. No big important ones like
Yeah.
keeping another human alive or anything. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think there will be a time in our lives like that again, where there's that ultimate sense of just like joy that we got from those kind of things.
Well, you can pinpoint it to a certain moment, maybe, when things really changed. Because when was the last time that you woke up and you were really excited to play a game that you had? And it was like the first thing you thought about and did when you woke up. Just like
I
when
can
you were
give
a
you a
kid.
date, December 2015, when they made StarCraft 2, and I bought StarCraft again.
Nice.
But that was 11 years ago, and that was before
Yeah.
marriage and kids and anything, and that was a long time ago.
What about you, Phil?
I don't know. I can't remember right now.
Gary?
Probably Killzone 2 when it dropped on the PS3 because they showed that insane teaser trailer, and they showed that like 5 years before they actually released the game.
I remember that trailer. It was
Yeah, they're landing on the bridge or like that beach in the middle of a
blew me
city. It
away.
was crazy. Yeah, and when the game actually dropped, like it wasn't exactly like that, but it was still pretty good. It was still an amazing game.
It was like meeting someone off a dating site who used tons of filters and stuff, and then you meet them in real life. You're like,
Yeah.
Well,
no, you're like, well,
I'm still gonna have dinner, but I'm not as excited as I was before.
I'm still pretty excited.
I'm not
Anyways,
climbing
that
out
was
the
the last
bathroom
time
window.
I had that feeling.
Yeah. Did you guys ever play the Max Payne games?
No.
Nope.
No, I think you showed them to me. I'm pretty sure you had it. I remember this, like the slow motion diving and shooting.
Yeah, it was a repetitive game, but the story was really good, and I'm a fan of those ones too.
What about like Splinter Cell?
I didn't play those, but my younger brother Lucas was huge into those.
Yeah. Well, are you excited for the Halo remake then? Because they're doing another one.
Like Halo Campaign Evolved, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's original game, completely rebuilt.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna, try that out for sure.
Definitely.
And I think it's not just for Xbox this time. It's also for PlayStation.
Okay, I want to switch gears a little bit here. I want to go back to computer games. Garrett, you mentioned computer games a little while ago. How old were you guys when you started using a computer for any kind of thing? Was it elementary school when you get to a computer lab and they had the Macintosh classics?
Oh, you mean that?
Grade 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Phil, were you there? Well, this is a completely unrelated, but it's about the internet and young kids at school.
Tell it.
Phil, I can't remember who it was. I feel like you were there. There was like 4 of us, and we just got new computers at school. And someone was like, "Let's download a picture of Pamela Anderson." So we typed it in, and then it started downloading like line by line. And then a teacher was coming over, and we all just ran away. And then the librarian came to our class, and they're like, "Oh no, we're done for!" And they took away some other kid that had nothing to do with it, and we all just stayed quiet.
Yeah, I actually don't remember that. I don't think I was there.
Anyway, so to answer your question, Adam, yeah, probably grade 5.
Okay. Well, no, I'm just thinking I'm thinking going back to computer games. I remember when I was a little kid, our neighbor and like one of my best friends when I was a kid, Steve, he was like a computer guy from I think he came out of the womb with a keyboard or something. Like this guy's always been into computers. I used to go to his house and he had this thing called Apple Talk where you could type words into Apple Talk and it would say them. And it was supposed to be for teaching kids how to write and speak and read and all this stuff. Like you type in apple, it's like apple, and it would say it, right? You're like banana. Well, Steve somehow figured out this hack to get it to swear. And so we used to sit there and type in the F word and the S word, and we would just sit there for hours typing in swear words. It would say it back to him in this hilarious computer voice. And we loved that. We'd do that forever. And then Brendan came over one time and we showed him and he was pretending to be all into it and stuff. And then he went home and told mom that I was over at Steve's house typing swears on the computer and I got grounded and I wasn't allowed to go to Steve's house for a month.
Tattletale.
He was total tattletale. He was into it. He was telling me oh, yes, type CRAP. And then he would he ran home and tattled on me. It was crazy. Ultimate betrayal.
Dude, you just reminded me of that Hollywood game from elementary school.
Hollywood.
Yeah. You make
I remember.
With these animal characters, and then you make them say whatever you want, and you could make them swear.
Hollywood was great.
And then Garrett, you got your hands on a copy of that game and took it home somehow.
I don't even know how, but Adam and I we messed around with that as adults.
I still remember the scripts you used to write, and I can't say them on here. because we'll
No.
get canceled. But they were so funny, dude. I remember I was trying to study for university and I'd be in my room studying for these huge tests. I'd have just like nothing but textbooks out and papers everywhere, studying for midterms and finals. And I could just hear you on Hollywood writing the most hilarious scripts, swear words, and all these things. And I was like, I'm going to fail this test. Like,
But it's gonna be worth it.
it's going to be worth it. Um, Speaking of things I could hear on the computer, do you remember when we got Duke Nukem?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Duke Nukem was like, can I tell this story?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna tell my own embarrassing one after. Don't worry. It's like Duke Nukem. If anyone played it, it was like this first-person shooter, and it was awesome. It was like a game that was way ahead of its time. It was so good. You had a jetpack, and you could fly around on a jetpack, and it was unbelievable. It was so good. Well, it was like made for kids, but it was also made for like older kids and adults. And I think
That was
realistically,
like definitely an 18
it was like an 18
A
plus
game.
game. Yeah, 18
Yeah.
plus game. But whatever. Dad wasn't reading the warnings on the boxes when we told him what game we wanted. So we got Duke Nukem. And I remember like on the one of the earlier levels, you could go through a strip club and there was all these like ladies on the poles. And if you went up and pressed space bar, they would open up their bikini
Give them a
tops.
dollar.
Oh yeah, you'd give them $1 and they had tassels on, but still. And they would like open up their bikini tops when you hit spacebar, the guy goes, "Shake it, baby."
Shake
And
it,
he would
baby.
shake it, baby. So I'd also be in my room studying for exams, and all I hear Garrett on the computer in the other room, I just hear, "Shake it, baby. Shake it, baby.
Not just me.
Shake it. Shake it, baby.
There's
Shake it."
someone else there.
I did it too.
It was Jacob was there for
Jacob.
that one. Yeah.
We all did it. Shake it, baby. I'm trying to study.
That was hilarious.
Well, they knew what they were doing. Because even worse than that, when I was that age that you were probably like, I think I was, dude, sounds weird to say. I think it was like nine or 10. First got our computer. There's this PC game series called Leisure Suit Larry. And it was like a computer game that was made for adults basically, because it was full of like really like inappropriate jokes and like nudity and all this stuff. And I remember like the developers put in like a safeguard, just like there's safeguards on the internet now when people try to go to like explicit sites they're not supposed to be going into. The safeguard is like, "Are you 18?" And you just have to click a box, yes or
Well,
no.
how do you know that?
It's like, well, I've heard these things, I've heard these things. And
Right.
so the safeguard was you had to answer 5 questions that only people born before a certain time would probably know. Like, so anyone who was like sort of like 20 and above would know the answers to. And this was the age before the internet, so you couldn't just look up the things. Well, they only had about 10 different questions they would cycle through. So eventually, you just memorized all the answers. And if you got all 5 questions right, you got to play like the adult version. And there was like full nudity in this game and stuff like that. And it was like pixelated art. But like I remember like the very first level, your very first task, you go up to this like set of binoculars like on a viewpoint and you put in a quarter and you're like spying on someone in their apartment and they got this like pixelated woman walking across the screen with like these computerized body parts, that's all I'm gonna say. And I was like 9 years old playing this. I'm like, this is awesome. I can't believe I'm doing this. Like it was great. It was crazy. So I love that game. That was my favorite game as a kid. But it was also like a really, really fun video game, and it just had these like extras built in. I remember like anytime mom would be downstairs, I'm just like, let's just like not play it right now.
Go away.
I'm just playing solitaire.
Yeah, like who came up with that game?
Herbert.
Hey guys, I got a great idea for a game.
Yeah. Little kids are gonna eat this up. Yeah. I'm just looking at my list here. I feel like we have tackled pretty much everything that I had on my list here. Well, the only thing I'm going to add is that, well, not the only thing, but like one thing I want to add. You know what I would say about video games is video games get a lot of flack, but would you guys not agree that they have been your constant companion through your life, through like the good and the bad?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yep. No, I think that's the thing about video games. It's like they were there for your best. They're like a dog. They were there for you for your best times, and they were also there in like the worst parts of your life, where maybe like you were going through like a horrible breakup, or family was going through rough times, or life just was not going your way. It's like you always had your video game system.
Girlfriend leaves you because you play too many video games.
Because yeah, well now you still got your video games. But you know, Garrett, that girlfriend leaving you thing. I remember when I was in grade 12, it was like
That
going
didn't
through
actually happen.
going through my first heartbreak. Well, I had a PlayStation. And dude, I just sat in my room and it's like I just like do my PlayStation like saved my life, man. I would just like sit in my room playing PlayStation, listening to music, and that's when I had Bloody Roar 2. And I got so good at it because it's all I did. And it was like therapy. And it like sort of like got me through like a really difficult part of life.
Yeah, but do you guys remember kids being like tribalistic over the game consoles that they owned at all? Like back in school, like
Totally.
I had people acting like like they're better than
Oh
other
yeah.
kids because they owned a PS2 and you owned an Xbox or something. You
Yeah,
know,
man, totally.
Yeah,
It was
man.
like
I had a GameCube. It got picked on all the time.
yeah, it was like a culture war thing. And I feel like people never really grew out of that because on the internet now, there's still people who like, you know, like in comment sections, like, no, PlayStation sucks. And it's like, yeah, people are still kind of like that. Do you guys ever like go back and try to play a game from your childhood and just wonder what the heck you were doing with your time back then?
Yeah, last weekend I stayed at an Airbnb and it had a Super Nintendo with a whole bunch of games, and I was so excited. I played for maybe 10 minutes before I rage quit. It was so hard. And I was like, yeah, it's just not the same.
I did the same thing, man. I downloaded this like retro video game thing and I was trying to play Super Mario 3. I couldn't even beat the first world. Like, in fact, it took me a long time to even beat the first level. I kept dying. The amount of times I died on the first Goomba was embarrassing. Like, it was like you needed the dexterity of like a brain surgeon, you know, to like hit those jumps and hit those bad guys and stuff. Like, I rage quit after like 15, 20 minutes and I was like, I can't believe I literally spent years of my life like doing this.
Yeah, we were built different back then. Used to
Totally,
those
man.
challenges. Now
Yeah.
I just not a
can you
chance.
guys think of any like games that other people loved but you hated or didn't like? Like you couldn't understand why they loved this game or these games.
Yeah, but I can't. I
Final
know.
Fantasy.
Final
Yeah,
Fantasy, that's what
fun.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, I never
Yeah,
liked that game.
yeah,
Turn-based combat. Give me a break.
And the original Legend
yeah.
of Zelda. A lot of people thought it was awesome, and I just like can't get into it. It's too
That
hard.
was super hard.
It's too hard. And what's the
Didn't
new
know what to
Zelda
do.
games? Breath of the Wild. I find it so boring. I'm like I hate that the weapons break. I hate that I'm spending time making soup. I find it really boring, and I'm really disappointed in it.
Yeah,
And myself
You know what?
for buying it.
It is actually a really good game. You just need to get past that first little bit,
I
and
gotta
then
pass.
it gets better.
Do I? I got to get my red
And
seal.
you just have to accept that nothing lasts forever. Your weapons will break. You'll find new ones, better ones, and they'll break too.
Yeah. Where do you guys see the
Man's got to eat.
man's got to eat? Where do you guys see the future of video games going?
Well, eventually
Full
more in the
immersion.
virtual reality direction, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Feeling like a real
To the point where,
life simulation.
yeah, to the point where if you die in real life.
You know what I think they're gonna do? I think they're gonna sell people on the brain chips, and that'll be how they get the brain chips going to people. Elon's gonna somehow make a rad video game out of it and be like, all you need to do is put the chip in your brain, and it's a full virtual reality, and people will do it.
It's quite simple, really.
We've done it with the monkeys. The monkeys are quite good at Super Mario.
Yeah, I'm with Phil on that. I think like full immersion.
I think full immersion. To the point
You already
where
see
like
people that have,
the VR headsets and stuff.
yeah, but now there's treadmills and haptic feedback vests that vibrate when there's impact.
It's
At
gonna
what
be
point,
people are just gonna have to be in a padded room by themselves to play a video game if that's where it's going. Which
Yeah.
is a complete opposite to how it used to be with 20 of your friends sitting on a couch all with two controllers, you know? It's the complete
Yeah,
opposite.
and if you couldn't do it, you had to give someone else a turn.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, I remember those simulators, Garrett. Do you remember when we went to that VR room or whatever, and there was that video game thing, and
Yeah, it was awesome.
your friend kept putting his feet in the play zone,
Sticking his legs out.
sticking his
Yeah,
legs
he's
into the
not
play
invited
zone. I kept
back.
tripping over him. I was so mad. I was like, "Move your feet!"
Yeah, shouldn't have invited him.
Yeah, well, it's okay. He was a nice guy. Yeah, guys, just in as we kind of wrap this thing up here, I got one other thing. Yeah, I will say this. One thing I'm really looking forward to is I'm looking forward to when my daughter is just a little bit older and I can start to play video games with her. And I just want to play the fun ones. Like I want to get her going on Mario Kart, Super Mario. I just want to keep it super basic, dude. But like, I can't wait for us to start doing that together. That's something I'm super excited about.
Sounds like a special moment.
I know I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be good. And can't wait to just absolutely annihilate her in Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
Well, maybe
keep
you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
just keep your kids away from like Grand Theft Auto
Yeah, I
until
think I'll keep her away from the GTA and whatnot.
a certain age.
Yeah. This is the last thing I'm gonna add here, but when I was in, I don't know, grade 8, grade 9, they had this game called Carmageddon. And the
Oh
entire
yeah, I remember.
game was driving a car and running people over. And you would drive through public places and you got points for running people over and you could get bigger, different cars. Like you could get a dump truck and crash into cars and run people over and stuff. It was pretty nuts. And they eventually banned that game because they said it was too violent. And then like 2 years later, they came out with Grand Theft Auto, which was 10 times worse. And it's just like, okay, a little strange.
Carmageddon was crazy. I remember we were like, we gotta hit the old lady with the walker.
Oh yeah.
I think she was worth like the most points.
Yeah, get the guy with the poodle. Yeah, it was pretty nuts, man. It was pretty nuts. All right, guys, anything to add before we wrap her up here?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm just gonna do my little conclusion, and I think I just want to end on the fact that, and we kind of touched on it already, but like, I think video games are actually some of the best memories of growing up, and they always have been. From our earliest memories to today, when we're still playing them, they've always had a place in our lives, and they probably always will. So whether you're playing Candy Crush on your phone, the latest hit on the newest platform, video games still give us a sense of excitement and accomplishment, but only when we win. Otherwise, it just seemed like a huge waste of time. So I want to thank Garrett and Phil. I want to thank you guys for joining me on the episode. Phil, thanks for coming up with the idea. Hope you guys had fun. And for everybody listening, thanks for listening. If you like the episode, please feel free to give it a like or a share. Please subscribe if you feel like it. And I will see you next week. Thanks for listening.